Bien, aquí el por qué los hombres deciden estar solteros.
What kind of world do we live in where a normal, regular girl cannot find just a regular guy out here to date? Because these guys don't want a real woman. They want a fantasy. They want to live in this fake fantasy world. They would rather jack off to some screen, to some robot, rather than actually deal with a real human being and what comes with that. You know why? Because it's easier.
¿Sí?
And I am done. I'm done.
So we watched that one. I'll give some initial thoughts and then we can move on to the second video. The first thing I want to talk about here, just from this little short video here, is that digital interactions seem easier. I'll use some different language here than she did, but basically she mentions that men would rather interact with women digitally or pay for services online rather than deal with women in real life because it's easier. And there's definitely some truth in that. I think a lot of men are doing this, yes. They're getting guaranteed instant results or paying for a guaranteed service versus spending the time, effort, and energy that is required for a real-life human interaction or relationship. And that time, effort, and energy goes towards a relationship, obviously, so that's what I'm talking about. But also the time, effort, and energy that is required for yourself and making yourself someone that the girls you want to date would want to date too. So both parts of the equation there. I'm obviously sitting here as a woman who makes content for men, and I have heard so much from you guys about why you're doing this. So let me know down in the comments what your perspective is. Again, I'm just kind of relaying the information as a woman who makes content for men and probably has more of an inside scoop than most women typically do. But there are absolutely men who are resorting to this because of failed prior attempts, constant rejection, they can't find what they're looking for, they're maybe seeking perfection, they're tired of trying, lazy. I mean, from one end of the spectrum to another, there are so many reasons why this is happening now. I could go on and on. So yeah, there are some men doing this because it's easier, they're lazy, they're tired of trying, but I think there are also many men who do this because they are so lonely. They feel so alone and isolated. They feel like this is their only option, and they're kind of in a sea of hopelessness, thinking that this is the only way that they can get any sort of human interaction or attention from women. And as a woman, I've never experienced that. I have no idea what that is like. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know what that's like because I obviously don't. So I know men are doing it for those reasons. I've done videos reacting to statistics about the rise of lonely single men and just how many men are single now compared to the past. And the numbers are drastic, they are staggering, and they are just continuing to rise. So unfortunately, I don't see this ending anytime soon. But in terms of the men who are doing this just for convenience, maybe you can get a girlfriend. You could easily go out and find someone to date in real life, but you're just tired of women. You feel like it's easier to just pay for what you want and go about your life and know that you're going to get guaranteed results for what you're paying for. I think what many men who do that fail to realize is that while it seems easier short term because it's just instant gratification, right? It will never fully replace a real life human interaction or connection. And it's making men more lonely and depressed than ever before. And the long-term impact is really harmful. It's a way to fill a void, and the temporary fill to that void is an illusion. But I also think the men who are doing this because they feel hopeless or they feel like it's their only option, the more you do it, the more hopeless you get. And then you really think that this is your only option. And you stop putting effort into yourself. You stop trying. You stop spending time, effort, and energy making yourself a more desirable person to date because you are just getting the services that you're paying for in an instant gratification type of way. It takes all of the time, effort, and energy out of it. Really all it requires is money, which a lot of men are probably blowing a lot of money on because that is the only resource that this type of interaction requires. It doesn't require you to have charisma. It doesn't require you to, take care of yourself physically, mentally, emotionally. It doesn't require you to open yourself up or be vulnerable with another human being. It just requires you to type in your credit card number and pay a woman who doesn't even care about you, which is sad. So definitely some truth there.
Bueno, pero la verdad es que también cuando estás con una mujer real, pues tampoco le importas, güey. Viene siendo lo mismo, por eso es más fácil pagarle una cariñosa, contratar ahí ciertos servicios, incluso todavía los que se meten ahí a simpear a la página azul, yo creo que todavía se benefician más. Obviamente es una estupidez, pero bueno, yo creo que obtienen más validación, más atención.
I think it's obviously more nuanced. There are deeper, darker reasons why men do this than just, it's easier. Like, there's reasons why it's easier. You know what I mean? So now I want to give the other video a watch. Just for some context here, she posted that first video, and then this is the follow-up video to that video, because it went viral. And this one is 3.5 minutes. FYI, you've got to bear with me here. Let's try to kick our instant gratification to the curb and have some patience, okay?
So I got over 3,000 comments that I can't respond to, but here's my response video. And I can be a nice person, don't get me wrong, but y'all are really provoking me. And go ahead. You're not gonna get a nice side of me if you want to provoke me. And I will check you. So you want to leave some nasty comments? Get ready to get checked.
Very different approach to this video versus the last video.
Let's take a poll for all you guys that say I'm wrong and the good guy, he's in the friend zone and we don't know what we're talking about. It's all this feminist crap. You know, women want equality. It's our fault though. Let's take a poll. Which, by the way, you guys have had thousands of years to get it together. So I don't think it's our fault. If you guys could have done something better, you would have by now. Let's take a poll and see how many guys out here are actually dateable. How many of you work out? You go to the gym, you take care of yourself and what you eat. How many of you are fat slobs? Any of those? You're not an option. How many of you guys jack off to porn? Women don't like that. So we're not gonna be cool with that. So you're not an option either. How many of you live at home with your mommy, or you have an extremely unhealthy relationship with your mommy where she tells you what to do, she wipes your nose and wipes your tears, cooks for you, cleans for you. You don't know how to do anything for yourself because you're a giant child. How many? Be honest. Don't lie, because I will call you out. How many of you are getting drunk and high every weekend? Partying it up, YOLO. Acting like there is no afterlife and judgment day. Because you will come to face God one day. It's not YOLO. How many of you are reading the Bible and actually doing what it says? Not pretending to be a Christian man. A good Christian man. Yeah, we know what you're up to. How many of you on your wish list is ass and tits? You want double D's, you don't care about morals. You don't want to deal with emotions. You want a robot. You want a sex robot. You'll be the first one in line for the robot girlfriend. That's you. How many of you are hiding behind a computer every day and playing video games for hours? And you don't approach women? How many? You're right. We don't need you. I never said that we don't want you. I never said to give up on love either. I still have hope, but will I take these red flags? No, I will walk away at the first red flag, and so will a lot of women. You have to do better. Stop blaming us.
O sea, se quejan de que están solas y luego exponen precisamente la razón por la cual están solas. O sea, con esa actitud, con esa boquita, por eso están solas. Ellas no se dan cuenta que están solas por su boquita, por su actitud, por su comportamiento. No tanto por ellas, porque tú puedes ver, pues no está tan ruca, güey. Se ve joven. ¿Ok? Morra a lo mejor promedio, a la que está bien bonitilla, a la que la mayoría de los hombres les gustaría. Blanca, ojos verdes. No se ve tan mal, ¿me explico? Pero la actitud, güey, de la chingada.
We're tired of the internet gurus talking about what women should be doing better. No! You're the leaders. You do better. Grow up. And get ready to get called out. If you want to leave a comment on my page, I don't need your support. I'm not doing this for likes. I'm not doing this for money.
This video was so unhinged. It was so completely unhinged, and I have to be honest, I'm a little scared of her. But let's revisit the poll of things that she mentioned and go through it one by one, because as abrasive as this video was, I think there's no denying that it was rough. I don't think she's totally wrong, and a lot of you are going to get mad at me for saying that, but stick with me here. Her delivery was probably very off-putting for a lot of you, so we'll try again in a more graceful way. The first one, according to her, that makes you undateable is that you don't work out. She said, how many of you are fat slobs? Again, I know it was a little harsh the way that she said it, but I think taking care of yourself physically, prioritizing your health and well-being is really important. And for someone who cares about that for themselves, yeah, it's something that's important to look for in a partner as well. And there are a lot of people who don't do this. I mean, more people are obese than ever before. I am really, truly not saying that to be a mean person or to shame people or make people feel bad, but I do think that we have a huge issue with this. And I think that really taking care of yourself is important. And I know that she didn't say it in a very nice way, but that's why I'm trying to shift it a little bit, deliver it in a different way, because there is some truth in it. You have got to take care of yourself. And honestly, for a lot of people, I think this would be such a game changer for them. You would feel better, you would look better, you would have an easier time dating. I mean, your entire life would improve if you just do this one thing. So I'll leave that there. I'm not going to say anything else, but just something to think about. The next one is watch porn. She said it a little bit differently, but essentially what she's saying is a guy who watches porn. You know, some women care about that, some women don't. Do I think it's healthy? No, I do not. Whether you agree with me or not, that is up to you. I'm not telling you what to do, what not to do, but for me personally, I do agree here. I think that it's really harmful to young men and women who participate. So, although she didn't say it in the most graceful way, another point that is true. The next one was living with your mom or an unhealthy relationship with your mom. She said something about being a man-child, not being able to do anything for yourself. You know, I know that things are very expensive these days. I know that a lot of you still live with your parents. Marriage is getting delayed. People are living with their parents at a later age than ever before, men specifically. I forget what the exact statistic is. I can find the graphic and put it up here for you guys if you want to see it, but more people are living with their parents than ever before. So I wouldn't necessarily say that that's a completely undateable deal breaker thing. I think for a lot of women it would depend what you have going on outside of that, how old you are maybe. I do think that financial independence and stability is really important. Being able to take care of yourself and do things for yourself and not be completely incompetent is something that a lot of women are looking for, understandably so. If you are a grown man who is physically able to do things for yourself, but you don't, and someone else is doing them all for you, that's not necessarily an attractive thing. Being a leader, being competent, being able to take care of yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, very attractive to women. So again, to an extent, I would agree with that. Maybe not necessarily the way that she worded it, but there was absolutely truth in that. The next one was, do you drink, do drugs, get high, party every weekend?
Bueno, esto es algo de que en lo personal yo considero que ustedes, chicos, no necesitan que nadie, eso es obviamente una opinión muy personal por los que han consultado conmigo, digo, los que han seguido mis programas, mis cursos, los que están en Frame, no necesitan tal cual a un youtuber que les esté diciendo qué hacer, no necesitan una figura, a un héroe, no necesitan a nadie. Okay, yo creo que los hombres, hay una razón por la cual estamos aquí y somos hombres más bien, ¿ok? y no necesitamos nadie que nos diga qué hacer. Nosotros sabemos instintivamente qué es lo que tenemos que hacer. O sea, es lógico que si vas a hacer cosas por ti, vas a entrenar, vas a hacer cosas para que te hagas sentir bien, estar saludable, estar fuerte, verte bien, sentirte bien, todo eso es un beneficio. O sea, tú como hombre tendrías que estar muy estúpido para no darte cuenta qué te afecta y qué te beneficia en tu vida. O sea, los hombres que no se cuidan saben que no se están cuidando y saben que los está afectando, lo saben. Simplemente no quieren hacer el esfuerzo, no quieren hacer el trabajo. Hay mucha gente así, ¿ok? Eso es algo normal. Yo en lo personal no considero que necesites o sea, ayuda, motivación o que busques motivación ahí para hacer las cosas. No, no creo, ¿ok? Porque todo viene desde aquí, desde lo que quieres o lo que sientes tú. ¿Cómo te sientes? ¿Qué es lo que necesitas tú de ti? ¿Ok? No de los demás. Porque es muy fácil, o sea, ok, quiero estar en forma física, quiero estar en buena forma física, quiero estar saludable, etcétera. Bueno, pues hay que hacer sacrificios en la comida, hay que dormir bien, hay que entrenar, hay que mantenerse activos. Siempre se ha dicho, hay que mantenerse activos, güey, punto. ¿Ok? Si quieres, por un ejemplo, pues si quieres ya no depender de tu trabajo y empezar a hacer otras cosas, ganar más dinero, bueno, pues igual, sacrificios que tienes que hacer en tu trabajo, ahorrar dinero, invertir y empezar a buscar nuevas formas y nuevas fuentes de ingresos. O sea, todo ese tipo de cosas ya es algo que si tú lo encuentras ahora como algo nuevo o algo que te estén ayudando o un canal nuevo de ayuda a ese tipo de cosas de desarrollo personal, pues ya está muy trillado, está muy choteado, ya es como que ya, güey, o sea, todo el mundo dice lo mismo, todo el mundo repite lo mismo. Yo considero que tú como hombre simplemente debes de tener los huevos de hacer lo que sientas que tienes que hacer. O sea, si estás en una situación incómoda, adversa, difícil o lo que sea, está en ti en cambiarlo. Estás equipado. O sea, estás equipado para cambiar, para hacer y para empezar a hacer que las cosas sucedan. Simplemente no lo quieres hacer. Y esa es la verdad. Y eso va para muchos hombres, obviamente, que sí, que se enfocan, o hoy que está muy de moda, ¿no? Enfocarse en uno mismo, que incrementar el valor como hombre, entre otras cosas, pero al final de cuentas solamente lo dicen y no lo hacen. Y es un detalle, es un problema, porque todos están enfocados en, que sí, que las mujeres todas son iguales, que no valen la pena, yo mejor me enfoco en mí, vive el micta o que su puta madre, y luego después no hacen nada, güey, siguen igual. O sea, solamente están atacando, están criticando, están diciendo mierda, pero ellos no hacen nada, o sea, no hacen nada por ellos mismos. Entonces, ¿de qué te sirve? ¿De qué te sirve alejarte de las mujeres y concentrarte en tu valor si en realidad no estás haciendo nada? Entonces, es momento de tomar esa responsabilidad real, de empezar a hacer esas cosas, ¿ok? Y por eso los hombres prefieren estar solos, por alejarse del drama precisamente de las mujeres, pues sí es un beneficio mientras hagas el trabajo. No solamente alejarte porque sí, porque existen un montón de canales que te dicen aléjate de las mujeres y ya tú también te alejas de pendejo y sin saber por qué. No, papá, así no funcionan las cosas. Tienes que realmente hacer un trabajo. Y el trabajo es un trabajo intenso, ¿ok? De incrementar tu valor, de recuperar la confianza, recuperar el poder, recuperar la masculinidad, potenciar desde todos los ángulos tu masculinidad, estar bien, volverte a sentir bien. Y eso es, ¿ok? Pero todo eso implica trabajo, desarrollo, disciplina, dedicación. O sea, es un montón de cosas que no todos están dispuestos a hacerlo. Y eso es la verdad. Y una vez que ya llegas a ese punto máximo, por así decirlo, a tu valor, pues bueno, es momento de ahora sí ya empezar a aplicar lo que has aprendido y también sobre todo regresar si quieres al game o al dating moderno, pero ya más experimentado, más capacitado, ya con un frame más arriba, que las morras ya no te pasen por encima de ti, ya dejar de tonterías atrás, ¿ok? Superar todo eso y empezar a hacer nuevas cosas y vivir de diferente manera. Es un cambio, ¿ok? Y bueno, yo pasé por todo eso. Si quieres saber cómo lo hice, bueno, te voy a dejar el link en la descripción. ¿Sabes? Únete a Frame, mi comunidad donde ayudo a los hombres a recuperar la masculinidad, recuperar el frame, simplemente estar bien, concentrarse en ellos, hacer un nuevo estilo de vida poderoso y después después de pasar por todo eso, empezar a regresar al mundo de las citas con conocimiento Red Pill. Así que si te interesa, únete, el link en la descripción y nos vemos en la próxima.